establishing a way by which video court could be conducted. We held COVID at bay and kept it out of our jail for at least 10 months, and when we finally did have some exposures in the jail, we acted swiftly to contain that outbreak. As part of our battle against COVID, we also established an ankle monitor program. This program has allowed us to supervise inmates who are on work release without having them coming and going from our jail or the work center. In the last 2 years, our jail staff have discovered and successfully intervened in at least 62 documented suicide attempts. Sobering statistic, that averages about 1 suicide attempt every 11 days. Sadly, we had 4 inmates die of suicide, but even in those cases, our deputies and nurses acted swiftly and heroically and did all that they could to save a life. And they also appropriately secured the scene and protected evidence, allowing for effective internal and external investigations. I'd like to point out that last year our jail staff, correctional deputies, and administration achieved 100% compliance on all of our jail standards as assessed by external jail inspectors. In our patrol division, we have completely revised and upgraded our field training program for new officers. We now have a great law enforcement training program and a specific paramedic field training program. Our K-9 program in patrol has navigated some rough waters, but we came out renewed, and we added 2 new non-patrol dogs, including a bloodhound. Our service to and relationship with our contract cities has significantly improved. Each of our contract cities now has a specifically assigned liaison. We are attending city council meetings on a regular basis and providing them a full data-driven report of all of our patrol activities. You may have noticed our patrol vehicles are being replaced on their regular rotation with more traditional-looking white vehicles with clearly legible markings. This change really improves our visibility, safety, and recognition of our office. Recently, the Sheriff's Office was asked by the Davis County Chiefs of Police Association to take the lead in establishing a cooperative public order unit, a unit that would be capable of responding to civil unrest anywhere in Davis County, and we are now leading that effort. We joined the conversation almost 2 years ago about how paramedic services should be provided for Davis County into the future. Sitting down with mayors and city managers from every city in the county, we have steadfastly insisted that any contemplated change must bring an improvement of paramedic service. We've also insisted that it must be a cooperative effort that eliminates any underserved islands in the county and establishes a closest available unit dispatch model where paramedics are dispatched irrespective of any geopolitical boundaries. These long-needed discussions have been productive. A preliminary plan has been developed, and if that plan is approved by elected officials countywide, it will allow the Sheriff's Office to transition out of providing paramedic service and really into providing a more robust and effective law enforcement service for Davis County in about 2 years. And then to go along with the paramedic discussions, we've also initiated discussions with other dispatch providers in the county about developing a greater level of cooperation in dispatch services countywide. Good progress has also been made there. All of the agencies who currently provide dispatch services have agreed to move forward with getting us all on a common server. This will allow us to really accomplish a virtual consolidation, and hope is that that virtual consolidation will also lead to effective discussions about a physical consolidation in the future. Past year, the Sheriff's Office has taken on a lot of extra assignments. Those assignments have been staffed mostly by our court security, our transportation, and investigations personnel, and this has included providing daily security here at the county administration building, security at COVID testing centers around the county. We provided support for the drive-through elections, and are now supporting the health department at the vaccination center. We've also made some important improvements in policy, updating our pursuit policy, our uniform policy, physical fitness program, and internal investigations. We also made some important changes to our use of force policy, consistent with the U.S. presidential directive. We also now have ongoing training on policy that is accomplished through daily training briefs, which are emailed out to each of our deputies. Our financial procedures and safeguards have been improved, and we established trust and confidence, which has enabled us to bring back to the Sheriff's Office of our financial staff that was previously transferred to the Clerk Auditor's Office. One of the things that I'm most pleased with is the improvement in our ability to support members of the Sheriff's Office with mental health, stress management, and counseling. We established a strong peer support team to help any and all of our employees. We made sure that our policy clearly states that conversations with peer support members are confidential. That team now has 12 members who are trained, and they are from various divisions and various levels within the office, so that employees can contact any member of that team that they're comfortable speaking with. We also pursued a contract with a counseling group who specializes in counseling law enforcement officers, and we've referred this and paid this group to work with several of our department members who have been involved in critical incidents over the last year. We've also worked with Human Resources to find and retain other providers for our employee assistance program, and this new contract gives all of our employees additional choices for obtaining confidential counseling. We also held several critical incident debriefings this year. Anytime that there has been a critical incident that might require this service, it's been provided. Therapists from one of our providers spent 3 days at the Sheriff's Office doing morning and afternoon sessions that were really open to anyone. We also held several office-wide open sessions, some of those with moderators and some just with our own employees, to really give the employees the opportunity to hear from and discuss some critical issues such as community relations, diversity, and cultural sensitivity. With very few exceptions, the feedback from those sessions have been very positive and appreciative. One of the most important things that I think we have accomplished that's perhaps easy to see but not so easy to measure is really the increase in professionalism, the elevation of the reputation of the Sheriff's Office, and improvement in our relationships with allied agencies and other governmental entities. I believe our relationships today are strong, effective, and productive. The Sheriff's Office, I think, has become a trusted partner with the County Attorney's Office, with the Clerk Auditor's Office, of course with the County Commission, and with all of the fire departments and police departments who function inside Davis County. And I believe much of what we have accomplished the last couple of years has been because of these strong relationships. Recently, with the retirement of one of our division commanders, we took the opportunity to realign our organizational structure. We flattened our hierarchy and eliminated one division. It's reduced the number of captains in the Sheriff's Office by 1, helps us ensure that we are not top-heavy, streamlines a number of services that we provide, and will result in a significant cost savings to the county. With a firm belief in the adage that a rising tide lifts all ships, we have pursued a policy of finding the best possible candidate for promotions within the Sheriff's Office, and that was whether that individual was currently working at the Sheriff's Office or was serving in another law enforcement agency. And this policy has really reaped great dividends for the Sheriff's Office. Those who have joined us from other agencies have brought with them a unique perspective and increased knowledge and an invigorated spirit, and those who have been promoted from within have brought institutional knowledge and a historical perspective and a strong understanding of our community. This balance, I think, has served us very well. In the last 2 years, we have been able to recruit some highly experienced officers, including one of our chief deputies, 2 of our captains, and 2 of our senior investigators, along with a number of other great experienced folks at the deputy level. We have also focused a great deal of time and effort on leadership training. We've conducted several training courses internally. We have a leadership training moment at every senior staff meeting, at every lieutenant's meeting, and every sergeant's meeting. And each year we have set an office-wide leadership focus for the year. 2 years ago, our focus was professionalism, accountability, and communication. Our office grew a lot from that focus. Last year, we focused on respect, care, and service. Those principles, I think, really helped carry us through 2020. Obviously, we've not perfected any of those areas, and they will remain an important aspect of our continued improvement. But we are adding to those 3 additional principles that will further enhance our leadership and professionalism. And those leadership principles for this year are balance, trust, and empathy. Those principles were drawn from a long list that was developed in conversation with our captains and lieutenants and sergeants, and I think will be exactly what we need to get us through 2021. Again, I want to express my deep gratitude to the members of the Sheriff's Office for their hard work and dedication. I also want to express my appreciation to you as commissioners, to the clerk auditor, to the HR directors who have been here, to members of the county attorney's office, for all of your support and assistance, and for all that we've been able to accomplish together. So thank you very much. I'll stand for any questions if you have any.
Do you have any comments?
Yes, Sheriff Sparks, and to your entire team. When you held your annual conference for your office, and you always invite us, you let out that conference with this list. And it was so remarkable that the commission very much wanted all of our county, both our internal county government as well as all citizens and residents of our county, to hear this list. And it's a great tribute to many, like you say, the collaborative relationships and the high level of professionalism that encompasses all of our administrative officers in this county, but especially to you and to your team and to your leadership. I give my personal gratitude and congratulations, and I look forward to the years to come with the foundation you have set.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's very much appreciated. Thank you.
So, as always, the kudos to our wonderful new our sheriff. Not new anymore. He's been 2 years now. I've been the liaison with the sheriff's office now for 3 years. I just turned that over to Commissioner Stevenson, but it's been my honor and opportunity to work with you and your staff and your invites, and I continue to, Buck Polson and your chief deputies always invite us down to get to know your deputies and to have the opportunity to interact with them, and the changes and the opportunities in being out in the cities, they've all been very appreciative. As you mentioned with the liaisons with the cities, we've been to those city councils where you've given your reports, and the city councils have been very appreciative of that, and also the citizenry out there has been very appreciative of that. They see you out there, they see you on patrols, they see you in South Weaver, they see you in West Point, and they see our medics doing what the medics do and what they do, and with their vigor and with also their love for their job. And so, Sheriff, thank you for all that you've done, and your chief deputies and the captains and all those in corrections. It's a hard work. It's a work that has to be done, but it needs to be done. So, Sheriff, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Commissioner. We do appreciate your support and all the help you've led us over the last couple of years. So thank you.
Just a real quick story. I with what my 2 peers have said, absolutely. You can just say, amen to that. But I do want to tell a real quick story. 2.5 years, 3 years ago, Kelly and I sat in the Republican convention. Kelly was in the row right in front of me, and we were watching as the process goes through there. And I leaned up to Kelly and whispered in his ear and said, "What in the snot are we doing here? We've got to have better things to be doing than this." And he chuckled and said, I have no idea. So obviously as time went by, we both ended up in elected positions here in the county for which we were running for. And I think the thing that I am so impressed with is that our goal as a commission, and I think also with everyone throughout this county, is that in every aspect of this county, we want to be the gold standard. We want to be the standard that's set throughout this state, and there, without a doubt, Davis County is, I think, the leader, and where there's more room for us to improve and become even better. Sheriff Sparks, with what you've done in the past 2 years in the Sheriff's Department, is not only commendable, it's almost unfathomable with what you've been able to accomplish in that Sheriff's Department. You've been an example, I think, to all of us. And I want you to know something, not only do I appreciate your friendship, but I appreciate what you've done and in helping this county to become even better. So again, we applaud you, we thank you, and I can't wait 2 years from now to see how you add upon that list too. So thank you again. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. It truly is a team effort at the Sheriff's Office, and we have some great people working in Davis County and some great leadership, so thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. So, Susan, without a doubt, he's surrounded himself with some dang good people, and that's what helps make it, and I know you're one of them, and we appreciate everything you and your staff and your peers have done, so thank you again. So. With that, it's hard to follow. We probably should have done that at the end of the meeting and just been through. So, but what I'll do here is turn a few minutes over to Commissioner Kamalu, who's going to go over the list of names on their anniversaries as far as the county goes. And Lorraine, appreciate your help.
So every month, at the beginning of the month, we recognize milestone anniversaries of our county staff and also administrative officers. So we're very grateful for the tenures, the service, the longevity, hiring great people. Keeping great people is a lot more efficient than having to replace people. And so all of these people have been serving for numbers of years, and we want to recognize the following. For 5 years of service in the Sheriff's Department, Susan Took. For 5 years of service in the Health, specifically WIC, Women, Infants, and Children Division, Michelle Bell. 5 years of service also in the Library, grateful to Elizabeth Marsh. 5 years of service at the Valley View Golf Course, Kelly Jensen. For 10 years of service in the Library, Carrie Robb. Then we jump to 15 years of service in Corrections, Trevor Skeen. 15 years of service in Health, again, WIC. We're thankful to Debbie Gotchi. For 15 years of service in Public Works, thank you to Anthony Findlay. Then for 30 years of service at the Davis Park Golf Course, Dee Robbins. That's a long time. We're grateful to all these folks. Can we give them a round of applause? And then there is one. Yes?
Did we forget one?
Got one.
Is there one?
Wait, oh, did I skip one?
Is there one more?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Hold on, I gotta look through my bifocals, just writing stuff. Oh, there's Neil Geddes, 10 years.
Troy said I wasn't gonna make it through the month.
Civil Attorneys Leader, Neil, thank you so much.
I know we're under COVID restrictions, but I do believe we need a picture with you.
Let me get my phone.
Who said we can't act when we need to act in here?
You know, I was watching his eyes and I saw them start to tear up because his name wasn't going to be called. Or maybe it was you were tearing up because you didn't want your name to be called.
I said, wait, no.
Hold on here.
I was thinking I escaped.
We have to get
No,
off
we
there.
knew it. Your name was in red.
Hold on. Okay, hold your little certificate. Let's see that stuff.
All right,
We'll
let's
set
put
it
this
right
up there. I'm smiling.
Sorry, something's in my way. There. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
You know, it's, when you come into, whether it's the city side or the county side, and that, without a doubt, you work very, very closely with the civil side of the attorneys. And having had that experience a number of times with a number of different attorneys, I will say, Neil, you have been an absolute joy to work with. Doesn't mean we always agree, but you know what? Your ability to communicate and to be open-minded and look at things is absolutely wonderful. And I thank you, and the commission thanks you for your efforts. And that goes true to all the other employees with the years they put in on it. So, but you know, with you being here, we greatly appreciate all that you've done in your staff. So I thank you. Moving on the agenda, we'll now, we have to get, Curtis, you want to handle this?
Commissioners, you have on your agenda a notice of intent to engage in contract negotiations. This is with Sorensen Advertising doing business as Relic, and this is for the RFP that was issued. This is the first part that will be issued based upon that RFP, and this is for creative services. And so you should see a contract coming back in future meetings with Relic for creative services.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Moving on, we'll now move to our public comment. This is that period of time with the public can step forward if they want to give us any information, which can be both positive and negative. We'd ask you to please state your name and your address for the record, and please keep it to 3 minutes. At this time, we'll open it up. If there is anyone who would like to come forward and only spend 3 minutes.
Not a keep it 3. Emphasis apparently.
Okay.
We never knew that her time frame before.
This is a lot of pressure. Okay. I'm Rhonda Perks. I'm here on behalf of Congressman Chris Stewart. I'm glad to be here today. I just wanted to give you a little update from Washington, D.C. Everyone knows we had a pretty harrowing day at the beginning of this month, and Congressman Stewart was on lockdown for about 12 hours, as was the rest of our DC staff. They weren't together though. The congressman kind of got whisked away down to the basement of the Capitol and into a room, and the rest of our staff was in various offices wherever they were doing their work within the Capitol. But it was a strange and kind of sad day for all of us, and I won't read the full statement that the congressman put out, but he is anxious to move forward in a very thoughtful way, and wanting to recognize that people all over this country are feeling marginalized and unheard and disenfranchised, no matter where you sit politically. And I mean, he's anxious to sort of be a part of, a solution for all of this. Having said that, there's still things that he believes in and isn't gonna back down from in terms of policies that he is gonna support. So, I wanted to mention that, that was kind of a difficult day for all of us. I also will mention that a bill dropped today, which is really such a fun story from the state of Utah. Some of you may have heard about this. We have within the state of Utah a World War II vet by the name of Stanley Nance. Stanley Nance was a member of the Ghost Army, and this bill would recognize the survivors of the Ghost Army from World War II as Congressional Medal of Honor recipients. Now, we need to have 290 co-sponsors on that. We're at about 200 right now, but Chris Stewart is a lead co-sponsor along with Representative Custer.
What's a ghost?
Am I? Okay. You want to know? Because
Yeah,
I'm at three. I'm at almost 3 minutes.
5 minutes.
So the Ghost Army was it was a tactical unit in World War II that had an extraordinarily unique mission, and their mission was to create what looked like this grand army. And they used big blow-up tanks. They used mannequins. They used like aerial illusions. They used fake audio tapes. I mean, it was really quite remarkable what they did, and it is estimated that they saved tens of thousands of lives because, you know, they would receive artillery that otherwise would have gone to, you know, other units that had live people in them, and the Germans never found out, and they kind of moved from place to place, and they would set up this big elaborate, you know, looking set. Basically it was a set, and the members of the army that did this, they recruited actors, they recruited set designers, they recruited artists to make this all look very realistic. So in 2019, Stanley Nance's great granddaughter started lobbying to have the Congressional Medal of Honor awarded to these surviving members. At the time, there was 20 left. By the end of 2020, we had 15, well, by the middle of 2020, we had 15 left, and now we're down to 11. So if we don't get this bill past the finish line soon, we won't have any of these veterans left. So we're really hoping that we can do that. And Stanley turns 103 this month, the end of February. So it's a race against time right now. So Congressman Stewart and Madeline, who lives here in the state of Utah, she's not a constituent of ours, but she did request that Congressman Stewart take the lead on this, and we are happy to do that, thrilled to do that. And I understand she's going to be on KSL radio tomorrow morning talking about it, so we'll see. Anyway, so he dropped that bill this week, as well as a Safe from the Start Act, which basically codifies a State Department initiative that tries to give some support and protection to women and children during international crises. So I won't get into that. I think I'm up to my 3 minutes, but next time I come, I will talk about some other things. So thanks.
Rhonda, thank you.
That was, 2 minutes and 50 seconds, so you got 10 seconds to spare.
All right, I yield my time.
We always appreciate you coming in, so thank you again. So, is there anyone else who'd like to take a few minutes? Okay, we'll move down our agenda to our business and action items. First up is our clerk auditor to talk a little bit about Tyler Technologies.
Commissioners, you have for your consideration an agreement with Tyler Technologies for additional reporting formats that will be developed custom to Davis County. It is $6,000. This will effectively tie our HR and our finance sections of Tyler and Munis together and allow for departments to effectively report project accounting and time and breaking out of employees' time. This is a critical aspect for our MER that is produced by our health department, but will ultimately serve all departments that can effectively use cost accounting moving forward.
A quick question for you.
Sure.
You've been involved here for a number of years. Do you feel that this step with what we're doing, we've been working on this for the past little bit, major change from when you first came here? How would you weigh that out?
Yeah, the implementation of an outside vendor to provide these programs is a huge step for the county. While the processes at times can be more difficult or challenging for end users, that's also good because it requires the end user to understand what they are doing with the system. And so the internal controls are significantly improved because in the past when our programming staff, which have done a phenomenal job, when they were programming the internal controls that the county staff understood. And so for us to infuse best practices, industry-wide best practices, I couldn't hire enough people to do that. And so having these off-the-shelf programs, while it has been challenging at times, has been a significant improvement for the county, for transparency, for adequate checks and balances, and appropriate reporting.
Commissioners, any questions? No.
Oh, congratulations.
Do you want, while you're right here, do you want to just touch base a little bit on our next item, dealing with Carver, Florek, and James on our internal auditors?
Sure. What you have before you, Commissioners, is the engagement letter. As you know, we went out to an RFP, and Carver, Florek, James was selected as the external auditor. This is unique in that my office did not participate in the selection of that, and that's a healthy thing. We gave recommendations, but ultimately the internal audit committee made that selection. This is an opportunity to scrub down my office, and we welcome that. We are happy to have a second set of eyes, take a look at our financials, and make sure that they render an objective opinion on the finances of the county. And so the engagement letter just outlines what will occur as we go through that audit process. It is unique in that there are two signatures, and that is the governing body, which is you, and then management. I will sign off on that. But this is laying out the terms of that audit engagement, and we look forward to working with Carver, James, and Florek. I may have said that backwards.
No, you got it. Florek and James. Carver, Florek and James.
We look forward with working with them to ensure the transparency of the county finances are met, and that the integrity and the confidence of the citizenship or of the citizens that they can have that in their county government.
We look forward to hearing any weeping and wailing coming from your office during that period of time. So
They're auditors. We're auditors.
They're going to be partying, boss.
We're very comfortable with.
They enjoy this.
We are very comfortable with auditors. So that's what we have to do with deal with governance.
Put your
That's what we'll have to do.
Put your mask on and go after your Well, you give that guy an opening, and it's like number 3 on our agenda this morning or this afternoon is agreement with Chadwick Booth and Company. Commissioner Elliott, can you just take 1 second on that?
Sorry. Curtis has some good zingers. He's really good at that. So this is a agreement with Chadwick and Booth Association. This is the county seat that goes on every weekend. They bring in county commissioners and talk about county issues. We are participating with them with a tune in the amount of $6,500. It's a lot less than we've participated in the past, but we feel this is a contribution for what we have in our needs for Davis County. Beginning date is 1/21 and ending 12/31/21, and so amount of $6,500.
So thank you, appreciate it. Any comments from any commissioner on that? Okay, we appreciate it. Moving down to our next items. This will deal with community and economic development. We'll ask Mr. Anderson, if he'll, our director, to please come up and maybe cover some of these for us.
Thank you, Commissioners. Got a number of items in front of you. The first item, number 4, is an amendment with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. This was a miscalculation by HUD on our annual appropriations, so our annual appropriations being reduced by $142. Next agreement is with Cheyenne.
Typo on their end, or what?
What's that?
Is a typo on their end?
Of $142, they could just sneeze funny and that would just fall out of their pockets. So, number 5, an agreement with Cheyenne Twitchell. You're probably familiar, a former marketing specialist, to help us with the tourism department with setting up some templates for email marketing and our website maintenance. This is going to the new brand, and so there's a lot of information that we need to migrate over into our new website, and so she'll be excellent at assisting with this. Number 6 is to ratify an agreement with Shums Coda Associates. So this is following up on our January 5th meeting where we asked for the opportunity to go out and solicit bids to retain inspection services for 6 months. We're excited, Shums and Coda, we received 3 bids, and this was the one that surfaced to the top. We've got an individual that's actually got refinery experience, and so we're excited to be able to start working with this group to start up inspections again for the county. The next items are related to the Legacy Event Center, agreement with Leighton Strikers, an agreement with Utah Taxidermy, and then some summary list of agreements.
Christian, any questions?
I just want to say I'm very excited about the new tourism website. Looking forward to that.
Discover Davis is a great new site, so discoverdavis.com. Please visit it.
On a call the other day, which was on a committee for appropriations, our good friend and supporter, Representative Barlow, had made comment about we were a pass-through county. And a little later in the day, I did have a conversation with him, and he said he would love to go to lunch with you and I and Jessica. So we'll kind of show him what all you pass by as you go through the county. So
Thank you, Commissioner. We were thinking the same event was very important for some of our local legislators.
So anyway, thank you. Next up, item number 11 is our facilities director. Lane, if you'd just give us a...
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I wanted to add one more thing to the list of accomplishments for the sheriffs. I don't know if it was mentioned, maybe it was, but regardless, my personal appreciation for the deputy being housed here on our campus has solved a lot of administration issues, and I think peace of mind to all the employees that work here too. So that's been a nice addition this year. So.
Thank you for spotlighting that.
Thank you.
And that was Sheriff's idea 2 budget falls ago, and very much inspired pre-COVID, because it was already a very good idea, and during COVID and during the pandemic, a huge, incredible help.
And
Yes.
kudos to your staff for that desk area, stand area, that matched up really, really well. So.
This area, we actually, I'll probably mention this in AO meeting tomorrow, but we got our security panel system integrated up there. So now all your front desk or wherever your panic alarms, if they get hit within seconds, the sheriff deputy will be notified. And also the CJC, and when we get the courthouse on board too. So there's instant response instead of 8 to 10 minutes before Farmington PD responds, so.
So fantastic.
Thank you.
That's great, thank you.
Those things fall into this next 2 years, he's gonna have to start making a list of.
Commission before you is, for your consideration, is a contract with Eagle Environmental. This is for our Memorial Courthouse restoration project. When we started coring out the concrete in the basement for the addition of an elevator over there, we found that historically there was a slab on grade concrete in the basement, and they put asbestos tile, and then at some point, we have no reason, or I have no understanding why, they poured 6 more inches of concrete on top of it and encapsulated asbestos. This was a significant enough change order to our contract that I felt like it would be best to go out to bid again, and we actually saved us probably over 10 grand going with a different company to accomplish this task. So yeah, that's what this contract is for.
So, have you been surprised with as much asbestos as we've found, or, I mean, this definitely was a surprise, because where'd that come from, but?
You know, we had a asbestos manager on board to try to help us, because there's a lot. We did find one pipe. The state came out and they do clearances and testing, and right before we were about ready to knock it down, they took down one section and exposed some more asbestos pipe that we had to hurry and come out, and all the teams were able to respond that the next day and get it removed. But yeah, there's a lot of asbestos in this building because of the time era, for sure.
I'm kind of curious, in the older, not the old original, but
30s edition or 50s?
the 30s.
Yeah.
So was there much asbestos in the building trades during that period of time? Or has this basically been stuff that's taken place, you know, once you get into the 50s, 60s, and 70s?
Yeah, you're correct. A lot of it was in the 40s, 50s after. In fact, even the corbels, we thought those would be full of asbestos. They weren't. They were full of animal hair, not asbestos. So yeah, the 30s edition was almost pre-asbestos. So okay.
Commissioners, any questions?
No, great work over there. It's coming along.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can't wait to see dirt being hauled in now. Okay, we'll now move to our golf course discussion. We have our Director of Golf, Dustin Volk.
For consideration, item number 12 is an agreement with the Davis Park Cafe LLC. I was notified about a week or so before I was taken over this new director position that their contract was expiring at the end of the year. So I've worked with the attorney's office to kind of work on their contract and mirror it to the one that we put in place at Valley View a year ago, and we have that in front of you today. It's a 3-year agreement with them, monthly rent payment to provide food and beverage services at the golf course there at Davis Park.
These are the ones that have historically been there before?
Yes, they've been there for several years, so.
Concessionaire that's been there.
Yeah. So we're just renewing their contract. That's an interesting side of our business. We need good people in there. It's not a huge money maker for these folks because it's so seasonal. But they're very interested in. As a matter of fact, they in a meeting we had a couple weeks ago, they expressed they'd be interested in Valley View if that ever changes hands again in the future. So we had a nice meeting. Zach and I met with them a couple weeks ago, and they're pretty excited about being on board with us for a few more years. So, and then once you have the next 1, 2, 3, 4, as you all are aware, that we've restructured the entire golf operation, and with the retirement of Brad Stone, we needed to discuss the outcomes of the pro shops. It's a pretty wide industry standard that either the golf pro owns the shops or has an invested interest in the pro shop. So in this restructuring and working with Commissioner Stevenson, we've come up with agreements that all golf professionals now will be incentivized in the pro shop agreement. What's been in the past is Brad completely owned his shop, and I had the own incentive up at Valley View the last several years. Well, in this restructure, I've determined, it was my decision really, that I feel that all of us should be involved in this because of the amount of workload and the importance of this incentive program. As you can see, that there's an agreement with me that I'll have a percentage of each pro shop. If you want me to go into numbers on that, I could, but and then Zach has an agreement for managing Davis Park. Pete has an agreement managing Valley View. And then Shane Scott's the new assistant at Valley View will have a small percentage too. There will be an outstanding agreement coming forward. Zach's, the assistant that's there now, is going to be leaving. And so we're in the hiring process of replacing him. And so we'll put that person on when that person's hired. But, it's a very important part of the industry, the business. Go into a little bit of detail about the benefits of this but there's a lot of really good this incentive program does. It creates tournament atmosphere for our golfers, which makes a lot more money in green fees and cart fees than ever does that comes through the pro shop. So it's a wonderful incentive base for us and keeps more golfers coming every year. So
One thing I just would like to point out for the minutes is that, as you mentioned before, that the agreement with Radstone, he owned the entire pro shop, which he received 100% of the
right. Correct.
profits from. In the Davis Park, it was 50% to the county, 50% to the golf pro at that time.
Is your mic not working?
Yeah, your mic, oh.
This next, under the new setup, is that actually it's 50-50, so the county actually is picking up, is not losing but gaining as far as the revenues that we'll be bringing in through the work that you gentlemen put forward.
That's actually, with the cart and range revenue, and now have 50% of the pro shop, so quite a bit of increase in revenue for Davis Park this upcoming year.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you for having me down.
Thanks, Dustin.
We'll now move down to our health department part of the agenda, items 17 through 23, and we're going to ask Commissioner Kamalu, our health director, I think, is tied up obviously with vaccines and things going on, so I asked our Commissioner Kamalu if she will handle this.
Sure. First contract in that group, number 17. Let me go back to my. Yeah. From Health Senior Services, we have the Davis County Senior Advisory Board. This is the appointment of the new Senior Advisory Board member, Becky Weisner. Those terms of service for Becky, and it's an unpaid position, the Senior Advisory Board. So it's a position of service, and the terms begin January 1st of 21 through January 1st of 2024. No financial information. From Health Community Services, there is an agreement with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah. And this is in accordance with Utah Code 26A-1-129. The Davis County Health Department is administering funds to programming which addresses the root causes and the factors associated with youth use of electronic cigarettes, marijuana, and other drugs in at-risk Davis County communities. The terms begin February 2nd of 2021, ending December 31st of 2021. The payable is up to $28,000. Also from Health Senior Services. This is an agreement with Daybreak Senior Services, and the description is to provide for direct purchase of needed in-home services for clients of Davis County. Terms begin July 1st of 2019, ending June 30th of 2021, and the payable varies with the services rendered. From Health Community Services, this amendment is with the Utah Department of Health, and this is the Davis County Health Department COVID Community Partnership Project Amendment 1, which extends the existing funding through this year, through December 31st of 2021. The terms begin December 29th of 2020, ending December 31st of 2021, and there is no receivable applicable. Number 21. So from the Health, Family and Disease Prevention, we love prevention. This agreement is also with the Utah Department of Health, and this one is for tuberculosis prevention and control. And it's contract amendment 2, adding funding and replacing attachment A. Terms begin January 1st of 21, ending December 31st of 21, and this receivable constitutes a $6,880 increase. Number 22, from Health, Family and Disease Prevention again. This is an amendment with the Utah Department of Health. This one is for HIV prevention, and it's a contract amendment number 4, increasing the amount of funding and replacing attachment A. So the terms begin January 1st of 21, ending December 31st of 21. This receivable adds $23,500. The last one in this group is number 23 on the agenda, from Health Community Services. This is yet another amendment with the Utah Department of Health, and this one is for EPIC, which is the acronym EPICC. It's Amendment 5, providing additional funds for the 1807 Physical Activity and Nutrition Program, and 1817, the Diabetes and Heart Disease Programs. Terms begin September 30th of 2020, ending June 30th of 2021, and this receivable is $11,532.90. That's it, thanks.
Any questions? Okay, one thing, Commissioner Kamalu. Commissioner Kamalu has, part of her portfolio is the health department, the behavioral health, which she has, I think, been as involved as anyone you could ask. She was involved with a symposium that was held here that she helped put together and support. Can you take maybe just a minute and talk about that for 1 second while we're on the health?
Rhonda, she'd be impressed if she heard my minute.
I'm timing you. We're cutting the line.
So this was last Friday morning in this room from 8:45 until noon, the 3rd annual Community Resilience Symposium. It is an amazing collaboration between actually not only the health department and Davis Behavioral Health, our partner for behavioral and mental health, but also all of the human services directors who work in their various organizations throughout the county. The county acts as a convener for human services, not so much a direct provider of human services. And it's a very important role that the county has to gather and to help these organizations know about each other and to align and to refer and to give the very best service to all of our citizens by not having any understanding of what anyone else does. So this symposium, the idea came about before Bob and I came into office, and it was a great idea. Then when I came into office, I was the host of that first one, and so I've seen 3. They're growing substantially every year. There's a huge interest and a huge need to grow the skills of resilience. And so we started with 200 in the first year, people participating, a lot of professionals, mostly professionals, but our goal has been to get down to the individuals and the families and all workplaces in this entire county. Second year, we had to move to a bigger space at our conference center, and it was over 300 people who registered. And again, all the feedback that people who are in social services will pay hundreds of dollars to go to a conference somewhere in the nation, and none of those are any better than what we had for $30 in one day right here in Davis County. We had to go virtual. It turned into, as the sheriff often says, a major silver lining. And we reached and had over 700 people who registered for this conference. We had people outside of our county, we had people outside of our state, and we expect that it will continue to grow every year. And lastly, just special thanks. I just can't give enough thank yous. Just like our sheriff, these things never happen because of one person. These things happen because of a lot of people who do good work. Marcy Clark is the assistant to the commission from the health department, and she is my right arm with all of the human services, and she is remarkable. And this year, going virtual for the first time, we needed a lot of help from information services, and Mike Pace was amazing. We tested, and he made it happen. So it was a great day. It's all taped to a YouTube. Did you know we have a YouTube channel at Davis County? Davis County YouTube channel has now the 2021 Community Resilience Symposium, and people are continuing to watch it and to continue to share. There will be hundreds more who benefit.
And how many people did you say were on virtually?
Well, there were over 700 who registered, and at any given time, we were up to about 500 for those 3 different speakers, and they were amazing speakers. Dr. David Schramm from Utah State, Dr. Susan Madsen from Utah State, and a licensed marriage and family LMFT therapist, Tyler Patrick. Resilience tips after 2020, strengthening individuals from awareness to action, and what children teach us about being shame resilient. Shame resilience is a huge topic I never even knew about before last year. It was amazing. I hope everyone will go find that and continue to listen and learn.
Good job, 59 seconds. Okay, we'll move on to the next item.
You're funny. I did my best.
We want to invite Josh to come up real quick. We'll do the one on the information systems, which does tie in just a little bit with the library building. This is an agreement with Marshall Industries to provide and install audio equipment in the Clearfield Library building. And Josh, I don't know if you know much about that.
A little bit.
Maybe you can just give us
A little bit.
just a tinge, and then you can move on to items 25 and 26.
Yeah, that's
also.
fine. So as far as the audiovisual equipment, this building will have several screens in conference rooms. It'll have a larger screen with a projector. A lot of that's what's going to be installed by this company. So it's short and sweet, but that's what it's for. So
I appreciate that. So.
you're going to give me all everybody else's extra time, right? So that was about 2 minutes.
Yeah, and just to point out, that was for an amount of $71,764.55, which is a very important aspect of that Clearfield branch.
This particular branch, yes.
Okay, appreciate that. Items 25 and 26.
Not a problem. So if we're looking at 25 and 26, the first one's data axle. I brought this to the commission the past 2 or 3 years. It used to be Reference USA. The resources really haven't changed. They just rebranded. As a reminder, that gives us, it's really kind of 3 branches of databases. There's what we used to be called white pages. It's a little bit better than white pages, but it's essentially the same information it provides to the county and citizens in the county. There's one that talks about demographic information, helps with researching that sort of thing. We're actually going to do a training with the Sheriff's Department on that a little bit soon, and a little bit with recruitment, some of the HR stuff that we're doing. So we're partnering with some of the other departments, but it's a resource we provide to the public, and we're just sort of benefiting from it as a county. So, and then the last part that they have is they have a job and internship search. I don't see too many internship searches. You know what? I remembered I can take this off because that's ridiculous. The internship searches are something I haven't seen too many other places, and so this is a good place people can search internships. Quick fact: about 1,025 hits when we search for jobs and internships in Davis County today. So, or it may have been yesterday, now I can't remember. So that one was for Data Axle. And then if we move on, the CLEF grant is also one that we brought before you every year for the past many, many years. This one is a community library enhancement fund. What that really does is it gives us opportunities to improve the collections, the technology that's directly used by the public. That's one of the stipulations. And then also some other parts of the library. Generally what we use it for is collections, to make sure that we have robust collections. And in previous years we've made sure that we have good online collections. That shouldn't change with COVID. In fact, I don't think it changes at all. So that's our intent.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate any questions? Hey, thank you, Josh. Appreciate all
Josh,
you
good
do.
work in the library,
So-
thank you.
Our last 2 items on our business is going to be from the Sheriff's Office, items 27 and 28. And we are hoping that Chief Deputy Polson is who's going to come up here. Oh, that's perfect.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good afternoon. Last but certainly not least, right?
Absolutely.
Last is best of all the games.
Best is last.
There
We
we
want
go.
you to know that.
So what we have here today before you is a certification of Utah Accreditation Alliance and the Utah Chiefs of Police Association. This is for our Sheriff's Office to obtain eligibility to receive discretionary federal grants. And in order to do so, we have to have met certain requirements on our use of force policy and procedure practice with our deputies. And so we've gone through some effort to update and improve our, especially with the things going on in our society right now with use of force issues. So that's been updated, and this is our certification for those discretionary federal grants. And then the second thing is a training reimbursement agreement with Cindy Riggs on Special Functions and Basic Corrections Academy.
That's an amount of $13,518, I believe. So, okay, Commissioner, any questions for Chief Deputy Polson?
Just thank you so much for your help in the administration of the Sheriff's Office and for being able to apply for so successfully and receive those grant funds. Makes a very big difference for our county.
Thank you. It's fun.
Thank you, Susan.
With that, I move approval of items 1 through 28.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve items 1 through 28 that have been presented to us this day. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. We'll now move down to our Board of Equalization and look for a motion to move into that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we recess out of our regular commission meeting and go into our Board of Equalization meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Mr. Koch?
Commissioners, you have for your consideration under Auditor Adjustments, you have a report with various items recommending change in value in land and building values. You have a personal property hearing findings report for 3,079, and I believe that's a typo on the report. It should say
307.
I want to say that's the total. I think that it was. Sorry, I'm scrolling over. I think that is the value, and that there are various items listed on that report with a value change of the 3,079. I will double check that really quick after we go through the remainder of this report. You have. Under corrections, you have 23 veteran exemption tax abatements for the year 2020. You have 4 exempt entities that owned property that need to be adjusted, and you have 1 active duty exemption tax abatement. Under assessor adjustments, you have 2 corrections for 2 corrections that have qualified for residential exemption in 2020, and you have 1 change in basement finish and room count under their corrections. And then I will hurry and scroll down and find out if I can find that number really quick. In documents.
I think what we can probably do is go ahead and correct that when we get the proper number, make note of it in the motion, and we will be correcting that number and look for a motion to approve the property tax register.
Well, I can move that we approve the property tax register as presented, and that we will be finding that 1 item to make sure it's.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, the report is not.
Well, when you get it, just holler and we can make that adjustment on this. So, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the property tax register as presented to us with the.
Found it?
I found it.
Okay.
What they are referring here to is the business number, and so that 3,079 is actually the business number, so that the number or the business is not disclosed in the personal property hearing finding report. They are recommending a 0 change in the value.
Very good.
Is correct. Okay.
So move approval of the property tax register as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the property tax register as seconded with the clarification from our clerk auditor, Mr. Koch. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. We appreciate it.
Move that we reconvene commission meeting.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we reconvene into our commission meeting out of our Board of Equalization. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is unanimous. We have a couple sets of minutes. If we
I move approval of commission meeting minutes for January 5th, 2021 and January 19th of 2021, as well as the work session minutes, January 12th of 2021 and January 19th of 2021, and thanks to all of our people who helped with minutes.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as presented to us for January 5th, January 19th, dealing with our regular commission meetings, and then for our work sessions on the 12th and also the 19th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. With that, we're down to hopefully just a few comments. We do apologize for being a little over an hour. Mr. Koch, anything?
I just wanted to point out that the Commission's timekeeping abilities show the importance of auditors in all of government facets. Thank you.
Please strike that from the minutes. Are there any other of our directors, any comments? Okay. Commissioner Kamala,
I have had plenty of chance to speak. Thank you so much, Chair.
music to my ears. Commissioner Elliott? Okay, and I have nothing at this time. We do want to thank everybody again, and we appreciate it. Have a good evening. At this time, we're adjourned. Thank you.